This is the segment that we call Ask the Consultant. And joining me now is the Senior Vice President and the Head of the Government Markets for Empower Retirement, Mr. Brent Neese. Brent, as always, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to turn the tables and ask you questions.
It's not fun, I can tell you.
So the Department of Labor has been busy putting together the proposed fiduciary rules, and they've of course gotten comment from a lot of the private sector. What is CAMAC's perspective on how far the rules should go, and what the best path forward would be for the regulatory guidance?
So first, I mean, we applaud the effort by the Department of Labor and the industry in revisiting the ERISA rules, and based on some of the issues that have kind of bubbled up over the years, it probably is time to revisit them. Clearly there are some folks who are not acting in the best interest of their clients. There are people that are rolling out in droves of retirement programs into IRAs, and the question about suitability certainly has to come to mind. And one example I can give, there's the Federal Thrift Plan, and that's a plan that has seen a lot of leakage. It's what we call in our, as you know, what we call in our industry, money just coming out in droves, rolling into an IRA. The Federal Thrift Plan is the most inexpensive plan in the world. It's extremely cheap. And so the question is, when you look at rolling out of the program, how do you, what are you thinking about? Is it suitable? So I think, and there are certainly other cases where maybe participants were not given the best advice, or employees were not given the best advice. So I think it's time. But we think that any regulation has to be done in a thoughtful, prudent manner. We've gotten many comments from various aspects of the industry to give their perspective, and we think that the Department of Labor should take all this in, digest it, and synthesize it, and revisit the rule to ensure that it doesn't have unintended consequences. And I often use the unintended consequences that came as a result of the fee disclosure rules. Great idea. But practically, what did it do? It allowed for more disclosure. That was certainly, we can applaud that. But it also had a lot of cost for compliance, for record keepers to comply. Those costs then get passed through to participants, no way, shape, or form, no doubt about it. And I think I would argue that the fee disclosure rules maybe didn't go far enough in terms of disclosure. There may be pieces of investments that are not completely disclosed. So I would just say that we're on board, generally speaking, with the fiduciary rules, but you have to be mindful of the unintended consequences. And in the case of the fiduciary rules, the unintended consequences are driving people out of the business who serve a very important purpose. As someone who oversees the government markets for a major record keeper, you have field staff that need to educate and work one-on-one with employees. But there may be people within different parts of a state or region that may not always get access to those folks. They may have jobs that they're not sitting in an office. They may be on the road, what have you. And so the advisors, the smaller market advisors, the mom and pops that I like to call, they fill a very important role. And they're maybe 1% of them, or less than 1%, whatever that number is, are not doing the right thing. But for the most part, I think people have the best intentions of their clients in mind. So we don't want to raise the compliance costs too high, drive those people out, and then underserve a very important market. So it's a wait and see. What will it happen in 2016? It's a presidential year. We have the Congress up. I guess we'll have to find out whether or not we get something in April, or if it's put off until after November.
Well, I think you make a good point. Regardless of the guidance that the DOL puts out regarding the fiduciary rules, people do need advice, and making sure that we maintain a standard for that advice is incredibly important. Well, we appreciate your partnership, and I appreciate the opportunity to ask you some questions today, Jeff.
Brent, thank you, and I'm going to have to wipe the sweat off my brow, but it's been fun. Thank you so much.